Hello, and welcome to the second episode of Revenue Cycle Decoded, where I am breaking down and demystifying revenue cycle for medical practice managers, whether you're working in a physician office or a hospital outpatient department. I'll be talking about revenue cycle issues that may impact your processes and your reimbursement. And so today, let's talk about the three things that your front office staff must get right in order to ensure you submit a clean claim and get paid for your services. And it's not just about getting paid for your services timely, it's also for making sure that the patient is billed appropriately, the payers billed appropriately as they should be, and those claims are processed timely, which, as we know, that adds to patient satisfaction as well and ensures they have a good experience. So the first thing that is extremely important that we make sure that we have is accurate demographic information. So it's very easy to enter information incorrectly when we're typing information into systems, or to leave off information, or to rely upon the patient telling us what should be going into that into our electronic systems rather than actually looking at the card. So it's very important that your folks at the front office are accurately entering names. It should match what is on the patient's insurance card, because that's going to match what is in the payer database. If they get a claim and the name doesn't match up exactly, that's going to end up in a claim rejection and delayed payment while you have to make corrections to that information. So we want to make sure that our names are spelled correctly. If there is a junior or a senior or a third at the end of that patient's name, that is included correctly. And any middle initials, if it's on the card, make sure that that's included as well. Also, you want to make sure you have the correct patient that should be on the payer information. For example, if your patient is a spouse or a child, and the person who is the insured person is different, that information also has to be captured correctly. So the second thing that we're looking at with our demographic information is dates of birth or dates. And again, very simple error to make to incorrectly enter a date. So we want to double check those dates when we're entering that information into the system. Make sure it's entered accurately. You can see 1956 or 1965. Again, this is a case where if you have the wrong date of birth, it's not going to match up with what is in the payer system, and that will lead to a claim rejection and additional work on your folks' ends in your office and delayed payments. What's next? Payer information. So we have to have accurate payer information so that we bill the correct payer. And we need the correct subscriber ID. Again, as I mentioned, we need to have the correct subscriber and the correct insured person on that claim that is going to the payer. And we want to make sure we have the correct group number, the correct, again, subscriber ID. So simple to transpose that information as we're entering it into the system. If you have a system that will scan the card and read the information that is on the patient's ID card, that's ideal, because that takes out that human error piece. But if it is your humans entering that information into your electronic system, then have them double check for accuracy to make sure that that information is correct. And we also need to know who is our payer. Are we billing the correct payer? Medicare or Medicaid? So simple. Sometimes as we're going fast, entering that information to pick the wrong one. Is it commercial? Is it workers' comp? Is it liability? Of course, we have specific rules and policies for each of those different payers. So we're going to make sure that we have the correct payer entered into our system. And then, of course, do we have a secondary payer? Are we looking at our coordination of benefits to make sure we know which payer is primary and which payer is secondary? That's, again, going to be very important to ensure we don't have delays in reimbursement because we billed the wrong payer. So make sure your staff is aware of the rules for coordination of benefits, which payer should be primary and which payer should be secondary. And we'll have an additional video on coordination of benefits sometime in the near future. The last thing we need to know is, do we require a referral or an authorization to see this patient? Many of our patients may self-refer themselves to your office, and for many payers, that might be fine. They may not have any specific requirements for referral or authorization, but not always. And depending on the type of services that your office provides, you may always need a referral or an authorization. So it's very dependent on the type of physician or the type of provider and the services that you provide there. But it can also be payer dependent as well. For example, Medicare may not require a referral or an authorization. However, an HMO would. And so if you do need that referral or authorization before you treat the patient, we need to be sure that we get that information. We get the referral from the PCP, or we get that authorization from the payer, and then we make sure that that information is on the claim, especially our authorization numbers. There's a specific place on the claim where that goes. We want to make sure it's there. So I hope this helps you to keep in mind some things that you can educate your front office staff on when they are scheduling and registering your patients, things that it's important that they obtain from the patients. Just to recap, we want to make sure we have accurate demographic information, accurate payer information, and if needed, a referral or an authorization to go on that claim. So thanks for joining me today. If this is helpful to you, I hope you will like, subscribe, and follow, and many more videos to come. Thanks for joining me, and have a wonderful day.